A steak known by many names, delicious even when cooked in a variety of ways. And all you need is salt. Here's the truth behind picanha, the signature steak served at Fogo de Chão. Cattle farming is a time-honored tradition in many parts of the world, and the Portuguese name for Fogo de Chão's signature steak likely has roots in this practice. According to True Beef, the word picanha is likely a derivative of picanha, a pole-shaped prod used by Spanish and Portuguese farmers when tending to herds of cattle. After the term made its way to Brazil in the 1500s, Encyclopedia Britannica explains that horse riders similar to the American concept of cowboys called gauchos adopted the term and continue to use it today. Street Smart Brazil offers another possible explanation for the etymology of picanha. According to the article, the name came from a combination of Argentine Spanish words related to branding cows with a hot iron. Two of these words, pica and aña, eventually became picanha. Although no one has definitely confirmed the exact origins of the name, one thing is certain: this cut of meat is among the most popular in Brazil, where True Beef reports that people widely consider it, quote, the queen of steaks.
This is the most popular cut in Brazil, right?
Yes, sir.
And the most popular cut here at Fogo. Picanha is the premium sirloin.
As Gateway to Brazil explains, the churrasco cooking style originated in a southern region of Brazil known as Rio Grande do Sul, sometime in the 16th century. The article further explains that gauchos developed churrasco to cook beef with minimal smoke, hoping to preserve the meat's pure flavors. Today, this type of barbecue is at the heart of many social events in Brazil and is an integral part of the country's food culture. Picanha is one of Brazil's most common meats for churrasco cooking, and people often grill it on skewers in the traditional style. Given its widespread popularity, it's no surprise that picanha remains a staple at many Brazilian steakhouses, including Fogo de Chão. A blog post for certified Angus beef highlights why picanha is the perfect choice for churrasco. According to the article, the secret is the C shape this cut of meat takes on when skewered. This shape allows the thick fat cap to melt and evenly baste the meat as it cooks, creating a tender, juicy finished product. The word picanha may be unfamiliar to some U.S. diners, especially because this cut of meat has many other names worldwide. For example, over-the-fire cooking explains that butchers and grocers in the United States traditionally refer to picanha as the rump cap or sirloin cap. In addition, Butcher's Box blog Just Cook notes that many diners refer to picanha as culotte, which may originate from the French word culotte, meaning cap. Like the English names, culotte references the meat's location on the cow, which is right above the rump near a large fat cap. Unfortunately, the naming confusion doesn't end there. As Steak Revolution describes, U.S. diners may also call this cut of meat the rump cover or top sirloin cap. Furthermore, picanha has several other names across Latin America and other parts of the world. The wide array of names may perplex those attempting to buy this cut of meat in stores. However, regardless of which name diners prefer, picanha is characterized by its triangle shape, generous fat-to-lean meat ratio, and tender texture. Fogo de Chão diners who want to recreate the chain's picanha at home may face an unexpected problem. As True Beef notes, many U.S. consumers will be able to find this cut only at specialty butcher shops rather than local grocery stores. As the article explains, this scarcity is because markets often divide this prized selection of the cow into 3 separate cuts before selling. These pieces include the rump, sirloin, and round, which are much more familiar to U.S. consumers. Furthermore, U.S. butchers typically over-trim the fat cap that gives picanha its signature flavor or remove it entirely. Luckily, picanha's popularity at Brazilian steakhouses has made it easier to find online. For example, delivery services such as Porter Road and Omaha Steaks sometimes sell picanha under its more recognizable Americanized names, such as top sirloin cap. However, ordering picanha from online meat distributors doesn't guarantee that it will have the preferred fat ratio or that it has been cut as desired. Outside of visiting a local Fogo de Chão or other Brazilian steakhouse, diners with a Brazilian meat market in their area will likely have the best luck finding authentic picanha in the United States. Although Fogo de Chão gauchos prepare picanha in the traditional churrasco style, this cut of meat also lends itself to other cooking methods. According to over-the-fire cooking, smoking this cut of beef allows the prized fat cap to melt slowly, creating a delicious, intense flavor. Smoking won't mimic the signature taste of a Fogo de Chão picanha, but it gives diners a new way to enjoy this unique steak. Over-the-fire cooking recommends slowly smoking the beef for about 2 hours and topping it with chimichurri, a herbaceous condiment commonly enjoyed in Argentinian cuisine. Traditionally, chimichurri sauce includes parsley, oregano, garlic, and other common seasonings. Instead of cutting the meat into into steaks, the host from How to Barbecue Right demonstrated on YouTube how he smoked a whole picanha roast with a Texas-style dry rub. After resting the roast, the pitmaster sliced into it and taste tested his creation. His priceless, positive reaction demonstrates how tasty picanha can be when cooked in this manner.
That's amazing. This right here, picanha done this way, it blows anything I've had away.
Any type of beef can be delicious if adequately prepared, but the grade of meat a restaurant uses affects the quality of its dishes. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture website, the agency divides beef into various grades, with the 3 best being prime, choice, and select. Beef receives grades based on factors such as tenderness, fat marbling, and flavor. The USDA further explains that prime beef has the most significant amount of fat marbling, which makes it the juiciest option. However, choice beef still has plenty of marbling to produce a tasty steak or roast. By comparison, select meat is far leaner, and some cuts need extra preparation. In a mashed exclusive, Fogo de Chão's Southeast Area Director, Rudimar Bonfada, and a Fort Lauderdale, Florida location's General Manager, Wondering Oliveira, both assert that the chain only uses USDA choice beef, or better. This dedication to quality means that diners can consistently enjoy tender, juicy picanha at any of the chain's locations. The restaurant's beef grade of choice is also one of the most flavorful options available, which is why its signature picanha only needs simple seasoning.
It's fresh meat, rock salt, open flame cooking. We conserve the original flavor of the meat.
There are countless ways to marinate or season steaks, but simplicity is best when it comes to picanha. The meat guide for Fogo de Chão explains that the restaurant seasons its signature picanha only with sea salt or garlic, minimally enhancing the steak's natural flavors. In the exclusive with Mashed, Rudimar Bonfada explains that properly salting meat is part of the gaucho training process at Fogo de Chão, since this technique is integral to the steak's signature deliciousness.
The beef, we're only going to marinate with salt. We're just going to sprinkle a little bit of salt on top.
In addition, Bonfada shares that many diners are surprised by how little seasoning picanha needs because its flavors seem so complex. According to Gateway to Brazil, this straightforward method of seasoning honors the traditions of the 16th century Brazilian gauchos, who also choose to season their churrasco meats only with coarse salt before grilling. Furthermore, picanha recipes across the internet also employ the simple seasoning practice. For example, Steak School explains that picanha only needs coarse salt because of its intense, pure taste. Unlike traditional, finely ground table salt, coarser salt varieties dissolve more slowly, making over-seasoning less likely during cooking. Coarse salt also adds a light crust to the steak, which improves the exterior texture. Picanha is well recognized for its tenderness, but sous vide cooking can make these steaks even juicier. One Reddit user dedicated a thread to sous vide picanha and shared their tips for creating a perfect steak. The original poster seasoned the picanha with salt, garlic, and black pepper before cooking it in a water bath for several hours. They achieved a crust on the outside by adding coarse salt and flame-searing the picanha on all sides after thoroughly drying it, explaining that this method makes the steak exceptionally tender. Many other picanha fans and steak experts also consider sous vide an excellent grilling alternative. For example, Chicago Steak Company shared a detailed recipe for sous vide picanha that included a chart to help home cooks achieve the desired temperature for their steaks. In addition, the article notes that sous vide cooking requires far less hands-on work than grilling, making it more appealing to some cooks. However, Fogo de Chão diners who especially love the char of a picanha prepared in the churrasco style will likely miss that with sous vide preparation method. No other cooking method can capture the same magic as churrasco at Brazilian steakhouses, but fans of the cut have another option for enjoying a tasty picanha at home. Instead of traditional grilling, Chicago Steak Company recommends using a cast iron skillet to pan-sear picanha steaks in olive oil and butter. True Beef also suggests pan-searing as a suitable grilling alternative, recommending that home cooks sear the fat cap first to begin rendering it. The article suggests using ghee, butter, or even tallow to fry the picanha, and also asserts that a cast iron pan is best for this application. Pan-searing is a relatively common way to cook steaks of all kinds, and the fat content of picanha lends itself well to this preparation. Many experts suggest using cast iron skillets for cooking picanha and other steaks because these pans offer superior heat conduction compared with most other options. This means higher cooking temperatures, which help create the sought-after hard sear on the outside of steaks. Although pan-searing steak isn't foolproof, it may be a more straightforward method for home cooks who don't have access to a grill or lack experience with grilling meats. In the spirit of inspiring its diners to try Brazilian-style dishes at home, Fogo de Chão includes recipes for multiple restaurant favorites on its website. For enthusiasts of the restaurant's signature offering, the recipe for picanha con alho is especially worth trying. The word alho means garlic in Portuguese and refers to the simplest marinade used in this recipe. The marinade combines garlic, olive oil, and sea salt in a blender. However, for those who prefer an even simpler flavor profile, the brand offers its most basic picanha recipe. This recipe starts with a whole picanha roast, seasoned with sea salt and hand-cut into steaks. This option most closely mimics how gauchos season picanha in the chain's restaurants. The recipe recommends bringing the steaks to room temperature for 20 minutes before cooking and doesn't specifically require skewering the meat. The chain suggests serving chimichurri sauce with this steak, which would provide a refreshing balance to the picanha's deep beefy flavor. The unique atmosphere at Fogo de Chão and other Brazilian steakhouses sets them apart from many different dining options in the United States. Fogo de Chão servers carve fresh meat tableside, and diners can enjoy as many options as they desire. Although this environment is difficult to recreate at home, diners can still enjoy their favorite meals in between restaurant reservations. One of the simplest options is to order from the Fogo de Chão to-go menu, where consumers will find all of the brand's signature meats, sides, and desserts. For those who want to get more creative, however, QVC offers a meal kit inspired by the chain's churrasco cooking style. The simple kit includes 8 picanha steaks, skewers, and the Fogo de Chão picanha seasoning of choice, rock salt. If this kit isn't inclusive enough, the restaurant chain also offers an online butcher shop where consumers can choose from even more Fogo de Chão classics to pick up and cook at home. According to the website, restaurant gauchos prepare the picanha and other items fresh daily, so this option provides the most authentic at-home Fogo de Chão experience in terms of food quality.